What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to yet another exciting episode of Power Connect. Panon pa Power TV, muletu katika pa DStv channel 278, GOtv channel 19. Allow me to introduce you. My name is Suecey Chigelo Chaku Kopala. Today's episode is going to be very exciting because the man I am set to host is somebody I am a huge fan of. He's a multi-award winning artist. He's a gospel artist, and 5 albums in, he's decided to give us a documentary titled Pole Pole. Chairman Pompi, or Pompi if you like, is going to be my guest on today's episode. So chime in for social media and for Power TV Zambia. Write to us questions, and we'll definitely tend to read those messages or get into your messages right here for Power TV. To kickstart the show, we're going to go back in time and play you one of the OGs, a Pompi song from back in the day that's going to remind you of his journey. On the other side, he's going to be joining me. So mwichinja ikaren fepanopene muchimunzi nizi. Welcome back. In case you're just tuning in, this is Power Connect and we are on Power TV. My guest on today's episode is a man I'm not shy to tell that I'm a huge fan of his works. He's a minister of the word through his music, and also he's such a lyricist that now when I decipher his music, I was consuming it a little different and I found certain gems that he dropped. He's here to talk more about his Pole Pole documentary. He's a multi-award winning artist. Ladies and gentlemen, Pompi.
What's up? What's up? I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm great.
Always a pleasure to be here.
I know. I'm always excited to host you. And because it's not the first time, I'm always like, oh, there's always something to talk about. Like I see how you could analyze certain things and maybe just post to your social media. And I'm like, this mind.
Wow. Thanks. Thanks
like,
a lot.
Thanks a lot. It's always, we're always getting in there. I'm so excited for the Pole Pole documentary.
Thanks.
By the way, I looked at a short trailer that you posted. Because I was wondering, I'm like, what is it to expect? Because, you've been posting and hinting at certain things, even as a bit of some Tumadionkos of what to expect. But before we get to that conversation, right? I want to specifically talk about a song. And I think I always rap to this song. I don't know if I've ever told you. I can't remember what song it is exactly. But oh no, it can't, like this song can't do this to me. Like the lyrics can't just disappear at this moment. But blueprints on in your garage before I even have the money or the cars. I want you to finish it.
Spaceships on the way to Mars. I relate because I'm reaching for the superstars. And the crazy fact is, I ain't even in my prime. This is target practice. If the industry is dry, you can call me cactus.
Putting Zambia on the map, check it in
on the atlas. Boom. Okay, I see you.
Yes. No, I get it.
I see.
So you know what? When I listen to songs like that, sometimes we don't. You put that in the song, and at the time you're saying things, you're talking about where you want to be. And Pompi at the time here is such a big name because it has been for a very, very long time.
Wow. Yeah.
So how do you feel your journey has been in terms of success? And also relating it to the lyrics, the kind of lyrics that you put in this specific piece.
First of all, thank you for listening to lyrics. I'm grateful. Thank you so much. Because it's always nice as a, because there are those people who like the groove, and I like the groove as well, or the melody and stuff like that behind the music. But I love lyrics. So if there's the thing that's hard, like in regards to the work being put in, it's on the lyrics, on the lyric front. So it's always nice to have people like pick out the lyrics and say, oh, this is so. Thanks for that. I'm even forgetting the question now.
No, just about success.
But yes, success. I think by the time I did that song, I really believe in proclamation and declaration. And basically, like even that song, it was sort of similar to silence. It was quite similar to silence, but just reframing, I would say, the message. That song is actually Penemenso Yapela. Yes.
I remember. That's like one of my songs.
Yes. So Penemenso Yapela, because I realized that actually, both from a spiritual and an innovation side of things, we're supposed to believe in the unseen. So if you want to spiritualize it, obviously there is clear examples in the Bible, like Abraham being told as far as your eyes can see. So essentially that in the innovation space, everything that is new and innovative, it means that it came from the realm of the unseen and it became seen because it's new. It didn't exist before. So I think that song was basically making people realize that you can bring things from the unseen and make them from your imagination, or you can pray and declare them into existence. For me, it was a big deal because that thing changed my life. I didn't know the power of declaration and proclamation. But now when I think about it, I realize, wow, if God had to speak, we are made in His image and His likeness.
Yeah.
And He spoke the word into existence. So it can't be that what we speak is just mere words. There is power in what we speak. So I'm big on proclamation. So I do that sometimes in my songs.
Yeah. No, I know that. There's
yeah.
another song that I want to get to because, and you know, it's what you're saying, the importance in listening to lyrics, right?
Yeah.
So maybe I'll speak about it now so that I don't lose my my train of thought.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about Miju, right?
Yeah.
So Miju as a body of work is one of those albums that gave you pressure to even say, guys, but people always sort of take you back to that album. And they'll say, no, but Miju, so the specific song, right?
Yeah.
So at the time you speak about, and I listened, it clicked the other day when I was playing, I'm playing your music. So you know how when you play from an album, from an app, it could jump to another song.
Yes.
So Miju comes on, and in that song, you're speaking about being innovative and how, as Africans, we still slave to, I don't know how you phrase it, but basically just talking about aid. So 2025,
wow.
the US sort of cancels aid to Africa. And I'm like, Pompi told us this. What year was that, 2014?
Yeah, basically 12 years ago.
Yes.
Yeah. I can't remember the year, but I know the frame.
Thereabout.
So thereabout,
It's thereabout.
Yeah.
So I just want to know, because now this is when us Zambians are like, you know, Dambisa Moyo wrote the book, but it's something that you sort of speak about in the song. And I'm just thinking, I know you say this, you love to read a lot. So at the time, what are you reading? Like, where is your mind at? Because I just realized that, listen, this man has been telling us these things.
Thanks a lot. I think, so I've been a fan of Dambisa Moyo. I was just fascinated that, you know, I mean, I watched speeches where, you know, that was at the time, I think it was George Bush, was giving a contrary opinion to what Dambisa. So Dambisa gave a suggestion towards the American economy, and George Bush basically rejected it. But for me, I was like, Dambisa Moyo? This woman, who's this woman?
Who's this woman?
George Bush is. You know? And I'm like, how come this woman is not known? Like, how come she's not celebrated as a Zambian who has achieved so much? And I think the curiosity there obviously got to actually read the book, and I found that there's so much capacity in this woman. And I think at that time, I was in a phase when I was frustrated with the culture. And you know, when we speak about it is when I was speaking about it with friends, and I feel as Zambians we need to change it. But think about it, if we were to put statues on our streets to celebrate, and you know, like, I think to build patriotism, you need to have heroes.
Yes.
So like America has got its heroes, and they create statues or remembrance of these people to make the future generations remember the story of this person and like what they achieved as a Zambian or as an American for them. I sort of at that time was thinking that we need to be doing that a lot more in honoring people who are not necessarily trendy, the ones that are worthy of celebration. You know, the word celebrity comes from the word celebrate, right? So I think we need to also point people to celebrate people who are not necessarily musicians or you know, influencers, but people who are in the background, but they are achieving so much within their, you know, within their space. And there are so many of those. I mean, there's Clive Chirwa. Clive Chirwa has got technology that went on a spaceship. It was technology adopted by NASA, and it's on their spaceships. This is a Zambian who was born here.
And I love that, you know, you get to shine a light on some of these figures, and I agree. Like sometimes our focus is on, when we speak about celebrities, it's just on people who do music. But there's people doing far much more than that. And I think to a mind of an average Zambian or a young person, I think these are people that we need to talk about a little bit more.
Yeah, I believe so. I mean, these are people they've literally changed the world.
Okay.
Yeah, they're not doing anything charismatic. It's in the background. It may be seemingly boring, but it's very important stuff.
Yeah, no, I can agree with you on that.
Yeah.
So talk to me about aid.
Yeah.
Just in terms of, I know you're also a businessman, away
Yeah.
from you. I know music is also a business, but just
Yeah.
away from the music. So having been aware a couple of years ago about how aid works and how you just vouch for more innovation amongst us as young people in Zambia, maybe Africa in general. How were you applying that? And also what's your stance now that a lot of that aid that we were receiving, that we were so dependent on, is non-existent?
Yeah, I think, so first of all, I think it's a good move. Why is how I look at it is like it's like a kid being chased out of the house.
Yeah.
You know, like I'll tell you for, like with my dad. My dad, he told me when you are 16, you are not going to stay in this house. You need to bounce.
I'm sorry, what were you doing when you're 16 years old?
Well, I just had to make a plan. That was none of his business. You get what I mean?
Yes.
16 years, you need to start making a plan. And so I was in university, and obviously when I came in, so literally from the age of 16, in fact, what I had done initially, because I knew the plan that I had made initially, because I knew that at the age of 16, when I come back from university, I built on the land where my parents, I built a small house.
A little house. At what age did you go to university?
I can't even remember. I'm terrible with timelines.
But 16, you're already at university.
Yes, I was.
You were pretty smart.
Yeah. So basically, I feel for Africa that's good. Why is independence of your own motivation? You don't get the incentive to be independent. But I think it's always nice. Like Jews, at the age of 13, on your bar mitzvah, you are a man. So a Jewish boy knows at 13 years old that I'm a man.
No, I'm a man.
You know, I'm now independent, right? That journey is very important. So even for African countries, or even, I think this is basically almost like your parents chasing you out and saying, now you need to be independent.
Yeah.
I think it's good. Why? Because independence is very important. Why? Because when you're independent, you can make independent decisions. But if somebody else pays the bills, the one who pays the bills is the one who's in control, essentially.
Yes.
So I feel that the move is good because it will allow us now to innovate by force. We're going to have to innovate. And those innovations that we come up with, it means that we'll own them in perpetuity, because now we know how to do it for ourselves. But when you don't know how to do it for yourself, you're always dependent on others to do stuff for you.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm just not a believer in debt. I mean, the Bible makes it quite clear about debt. It actually says, the Bible says that when you are in debt to somebody, it actually puts it that they own you, essentially. So I think that's where I was at the time. And also just, I'm also quite a history buff, so understanding there's a book that I can recommend people to read. It's called The Confessions of an Economic Hitman by a man called John Perkins. Okay. It highlights how debt is weaponized. And for example, the IMF was established, if I'm not mistaken, it was established during the World War I and World War II to rebuild the countries that were the damaged, the Western countries that were damaged by war. And then obviously when the war finished, World War II finished, they didn't have that work to do. So they thought, okay, how do we expand even further? So IMF created a new strategy to extend loans, obviously, to Africa, and obviously a lot of other countries. But obviously there's the dynamic behind the IMF, which is not known so much, which is obviously the IMF has got a place on the table to put down policy. It's not a conspiracy, it's just a fact. Yeah. They do policy suggestions. Now, why they have got control to put policy suggestions is because they want their money back. So they will give you recommendations on how you can get your money, get their money back. Yeah. And sometimes those recommendations are not always best for the economy or the country that, you know. So those are the dynamics, which obviously I would say I knew then. And for not trying to be directly controversial or to speak these things, I'll put it in a song, but I'll sort of frame it in a way that, you know.
Yeah. You know what? Please pay attention to lyrics. Like, this is something that usually when I listen to a song, the first time I'm listening, I really want to, I'm paying attention to what the person is saying. So it most of the time determines if I'm going to play it another time. Then if I play it the second time, then maybe the vibes will come in. Now I already understand what the person is saying. But I think also that was somehow like I had a light bulb moment and said, oh, this has been in the song for a very long time, and he spoke about it. So having, you know, gone to uni at the time you were 16 and becoming independent, now you're a dad. Would you let your kids move out at 16?
They have to move out.
So you're going by it?
Yeah, the boy has to be, both of them are adults by the age of 13.
Come on.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's our heritage. That's our heritage.
Okay.
It's just now we've edited things.
I mean, I'm looking at it and I'm trying to think at the time I was 16, what am I doing? I don't even know where to go.
That's what's sad. So you see, like, imagine a Jewish child at 13 knows that they are, like, a Jewish girl knows I'm a woman now.
Yeah.
A Jewish boy knows I'm a man now. So they take that posture, and so by the time he's 25, I mean, this person has been an adult for how many years?
For a very long time.
You know, because we don't have that clear, you're not sure.
That's when you're trying to figure things out.
You've still got people who are 25 who are still dependents, or 30 years, but they are still dependents. So I think it's very important to have that mark when you know that, okay, now I'm not being taken care of, now I take responsibility over others. So for example, the Jews with the bar mitzvah, even for like the guys, they say like, look, you're almost like now the man of the house.
Of the house, yeah.
Now imagine telling a 13-year-old you're the man of the house. You won't be thinking certain ideas.
I'm looking at, my family dynamic, my youngest brother is about that age.
Yeah.
And I think because he's been the youngest for a long time, I still look at him as a baby. So I was talking to him recently and he says to me, no, but I'm in year 8. And I'm like, wait, what? Like, so now thinking of a 13, like I think he's still a baby. I think to an extent we're just babied. I don't know if it's around our culture. But you know something else that I found out is that you played rugby. I didn't know that.
Yeah, no, not a lot of people know that. Guy, I knew at the time I was too skinny, so you wouldn't even believe that.
So it's like, no, let me keep this to myself.
Actually, to be honest, no, I won't say even that's the reason. It's just, I think my wife was the one who has always highlighted to me that there are so many things which you've done, which you haven't talked about. Like, why don't you talk about these things? I think maybe that's probably one of them. Yeah, so I played rugby for Zambia.
So did you start off in high school, then after... Then I think you did say that you played for under 21.
Under 21.
Okay,
Zambia,
so the passion
just to make it clear, yes, under 21 Zambia national team. Yes.
Just
not the big guys. No, not those guys. No.
Not those guys. Yes, but isn't it the same thing almost?
It is, but the national the national team is obviously they're a bigger deal, but yeah. Yeah.
So it starts from high school and it transitions to uni, and is this post uni or?
No. By uni, I had stopped. I think it was more during high school. I would say during high school. Yeah.
Okay.
Is when I was still at school when I were going on those trips for. Yeah. Can
you play now? Like if somebody put you on a field?
No.
You can.
No.
Why not? What's different?
I wouldn't say I enjoyed the sport. Why? I enjoy watching it. I didn't necessarily enjoy playing it too much, but they got me from athletics. So I used to be good at 100 meters, 200 meters, and there's a position in rugby called the wing. So they just needed somebody fast. So they got me from athletics. Say you can run.
Yeah.
Come play rugby as a wing. And I mean, I was playing it, but I found people who were passionate about rugby. For me, I feel like hard work can never beat passion. So for me, I was just playing like, hey, we are having fun, but you would see these guys who are taking painkillers before the game.
Like, I know, like, hey, rugby can be...
What mission are you on, bro? You know?
Yeah, no, I do get you. But you know what? Let me tell you something I wanted to do before you came.
Yeah.
So if you know Pompi, you know he loves coffee. It just didn't arrive because
you say you order the
but
coffee.
you know, I want like I'm like, oh, maybe when you come, the coffee is there.
Yeah,
you know,
I would have been chuffed.
As we no, don't worry. Just in case it arrives while this interview is done, there's something that's going to be done in the background. Is Africa coffee? Is that what But you know what? I want to take you to the start of the year.
Yeah.
So you posted about being involved in an accident.
Yeah.
You know, when it comes to things like that, I think it's a little mind-blowing even to ask somebody how that could have happened, and that's why it's referred to as an accident. But where was it and what was going on?
It was at what's that place called? I've forgotten what the place is called. Along the airport road, there's this shopping center with like a basketball court outside. I've forgotten what they call it. On the way to the airport is to the left. There's the tank here, the Charleston tank, and then up ahead, that's where you can even get like your musonko for the car from there. There's got offices. I've forgotten the name of the place, but just there, almost close to the tank. Yeah. So I was on the filter lane. We saw the truck. We saw a truck coming. There's obviously a stop sign on the crossroads. Yeah, and we stopped to allow the truck to go. But I don't know how the truck literally still turned into us and hit us. So we were stagnant.
Oh, so you were in a stop position?
We're stagnant. The car we had stopped, on the crossroads there's the stop sign. So we stopped.
Then the truck just came in.
Then the truck just came and literally just hit into us. Yeah.
That's hectic.
Yeah.
But we're glad you're fine.
Thanks.
Yeah,
thanks.
we're glad.
No, but we're very fine. There was nothing. We both. I was on my way to a meeting. I literally went for the meeting. And they were laughing at me, saying like, "How do you come?"
No, I mean they were like, "We understand the passion, sir, but." So you're right, because I saw the pictures of the car. So this meeting could have had. What was it about this meeting?
No, you know what? It's one of those meetings I was trying to get that meeting for like I think 3 months or so, or like such a long time. So
when it came,
it comes. And then I was like, the devil is a lie. No, I'm going. You know what I mean? It was one of those. So
I hope you ended up getting the deal.
Actually, it's looking good.
Okay. No, that's good. Because it's like, they were just like, no, this is a very committed young man. Please give him what he wants.
Give him what he wants. Yeah.
But also start of the year was on a sad note. Zambia lost somebody who had done so many incredible things for the country. And what's sad about it is that a lot of people got to know about her work after she had passed away. I knew of her through TikTok. She was on my TikTok feed. I used to see what she used to do. For those of you that don't know, it's a young lady. Her name was Dora. And you had gone to the place where she had set up. How was that for you?
You know what? Like when I was talking about people who need to be celebrated, Dora needs to be celebrated.
Yes.
I mean, for me, it challenged me one day. I started to think like, you know what am I, as in literally all of us who went there, the feeling was like, you know what am I doing? Like, am I actually contributing to the betterment of humanity or whatever? Because just the story, she had come from the UK, I think she was at Cambridge, came in, you've gotten that type of exposure, Cambridge. You come here and, you might want to act bougie,
Yes.
But she came in, went to visit a friend there in Mukushi, found the situation there with the children that it wasn't okay, and the school, decides to stay there. She built a mud hut for herself to stay in and started to teach the children under a tree. I fail to understand, it's very difficult to digest that kind of a heart. There are not a lot of people with that kind of heart to do that. When you go to the school now, the dignity that she raised those children, that she was raising those children with is amazing. For example, there were 2 snack breaks, not lunch. There's breakfast, right?
Okay.
There's lunch, but between breakfast and lunch, there was a snack. There was you would have a fruit. And then there was another break after, in the afternoon after lunch, where they would get like some candy or like some biscuits. Or you go to the dorms, the ones who are doing boarding school. In a dorm, there was only, I think maximum, if I'm not mistaken, there were only maybe about 16 beds or so per dorm. As in, those dorms were they were nice. They had a TV room. It was so neat. The children know how to, clear up after themselves. Before they would eat all the time, they would pray. It was just amazing to see the dignity that you can say, I'm taking care of children, but she took care of them with so much dignity. And this is over 500 children who are not paying a cent. There was even the battle that she had to fight of people not believing that she had good intentions. Because it was almost seemingly too good to be true to some of the people.
Very true,
local, because like the children, if it's summer, they had summer wear, which she would provide them with summer wear. If it's winter, there was winter wear, she would provide them with winter wear. And these are some children who have got parents. So the child would come back home with a jacket that the parents didn't buy, or but the parents eventually understood her intentions, and they started plugging in. The community, you could tell, even the chief, everyone was very sad that she was gone, and she made a massive difference there. So, yeah, it was a motivation for me. It was a motivation for me. I think she's a hero. Definitely.
No, she is. And and I know how Zambians speak, especially from social media, when people see, because a lot of people, especially, and I say this all the time, if you get on social media platforms in Zambia, what's relevant on Facebook is not relevant on Twitter. The conversation is different. TikTok.
Yes.
So there's a lot of, it's very few people that manage to cross-promote, and they stay relevant on a lot of platforms.
Very true, very true.
Yes, especially if you don't, because in Zambia, celebrity is a musician.
I hear you.
Yes, so most of the time you find that she was doing all those incredible things, and a lot of people that knew of her work are people found on TikTok.
Exactly.
Yes, it never used to spill over, and when, there's events where they give accolades or honor people who are doing incredible things, you would find that her name is never there, and this is when people were angry and they were like, why is why da, da, da? But I think it shouldn't really be like that. And I'm so glad you went there. So having experienced that, what is it that you felt like was invoked in you that could want to make you be of service to the people, very differently from the music, but in another way you could touch lives?
Yeah, so I mean, I would say me and my wife we're already sort of in that space, where we do give back. For example, there's something called, I think the big one is what we call the My Light project. So only maybe about 45% of Africa, of Zambia, has got access to the electricity grid. So there are these schools in these like rural areas where when the kid goes home, homework, it's on a candle. So the candle they have to share with the mother, the what. So we decided to donate solar lamps. So there are these solar lamps that we'll donate to different schools. So I think we've donated so far to about 8 schools.
That's very nice.
Yeah, so we're already in that space, but Dora gave her life to that. It's not like, for us, it's like, obviously,
like something
it's
you do
part-time on the side, but Dora gave her life to it. And she had the intellectual capacity to probably work and thrive in any space. Any space. I mean, she had the capacity, but she chose to be there,
Yeah, that's really nice. So let's talk about you and Vamatero. Well, before we get to that conversation, we're going to take a short break. And we're going to play something from the Pole Pole album. I want to choose, but I'll allow you to choose. I want you to choose a song from the Pole Pole album. Whose video you're going to play right now?
Okay. I think Let Me Go with Seven.
Okay. I'll ask why you picked that song, but I have an idea. So we're going to take a short musical break. When we return, we're going to talk about the Pole Pole documentary more in-depthly, because from what I saw, Pompi's parents are not too pleased that Anasanka music. Why are you choosing music? You're going to be right back. Pompi, mucho musician.
Nizi.
Welcome back. That's a very beautiful song.
Thank you.
Now my lyrics, he was saying, all the songs. But you know what's nice about Sevenza?
Yeah.
And I don't know if I've said this to you before.
Yeah.
You, when it comes to championing for the Zambian tourism sector, you've been doing that for a long time. I just realized that you're part of, what were you called, the Big Five? The Fly
Big Five, yes, Fly Five, yes.
Yes,
Fly
you
Five,
did
yes.
that. That's like years ago.
Yes.
Fast forward the Sevenza, and in the video, you're intentionally showcasing the beauty of Zambia.
Yeah.
So I just want to know, have you always loved to travel?
I love to travel. I love to travel. Yeah, I think that's pretty much my social life is literally. I would say I don't have much of a social life. I don't know if that's a correct thing to do. I do, but it's not. Let me say I have a social life, but it's not what it looks like for other people.
Okay, what does yours
for
look
me,
like?
just having like literally having coffee, having great conversation. I'm there. That's the. I'm happy.
I think if it wasn't Abel, I can't remember who said this, that if Pompi has never invited you out for coffee, you're not his friend. So,
no, I hear you. Yeah, so literally coffee, like I'm always open to a coffee because I just love conversation. I love getting to know people, and because I know I'm not charismatic. I'm not. So me, just a conversation, I'm cool.
Like, I'm that's all I can offer. Listen,
like,
I'll give you some ideas. Let's bounce off
each other. Let me learn. And then but that's pretty much. So outside that, the thing is, my ideal like fun is just traveling.
Yeah.
Traveling, like seeing new places, experiencing new cultures. Yeah, that's like for me. That's I love that so much, especially in Africa.
Okay, so other than sightseeing, do you do like extreme excursions, like?
Not yet. I mean, if going, my wife considers some of the excursions extreme. I don't necessarily consider them very extreme.
No, I remember. What was it you were doing? Is it the snake thing? I can't remember what it was. But
in Zim, like
but what? Have you been bungee jumping? Would you go?
4 times.
You've done that?
Yeah.
Okay, so listen, you're not very boring. I've never been. I don't think I would.
Serious, yeah.
I think I like to explore, but
No, but I would say I would be boring in town.
Oh, okay.
In
so
town. But
take
outside,
you to
take me Kumunzi or Mashani, Mabundus.
That's where you thrive.
That's where I thrive. Maybe I was supposed to be like a village boy.
You know what I mean?
I don't get it.
Village boy, that was accidentally born in town.
In town.
No, but I get it. I get it. And also, I've seen that intentionally. Even the Zambia Tourism Agency has been promoting more local tourism, which I think is something that we could, especially to an average Zambian, right? So I want to also hear your personal experiences, having traveled a lot, especially locally, and how people would then complain and say some of these places are not very accessible to an average Zambian. What's been your experience with that? Like, do we need a lot of money?
Yeah, I mean, there are some places that we've been to. Which we in Zambia, which we really felt like, I wish every single Zambian had access to this, because I mean there are some amazing places in Zambia. So I think obviously I like the fact that National Tourism Board is pushing this Yamuloko.
Yeah, holiday Yamuloko.
But I think also if I don't know the pricing of most of these places is quite pricey.
Yeah,
it's quite pricey. Like especially if you want to go Lower Zambezi, which is a beautiful place, obviously.
Yeah.
If you want to go to Mfuwe, there is a place that I know in Mfuwe that's quite affordable. But the rest of the places are quite expensive.
Steep.
Yeah.
Is Mfuwe your favorite place to travel to?
Locally. One of because it's my favorite national park. Yeah, why is because there you've got you may not see the big 5, but you see big 4. Like I've never been, and I have to say I think Mfuwe is better than Kruger National Park.
Is it?
By far, and I'll say that to the South Africans. Sorry guys.
Yeah, no, it's better.
Sorry, I'm so
and
sorry.
I asked that because it's on one of your songs. Is it?
Oh yes.
I was like, something has to be in Mfuwe. Let me take you to Mfuwe, okay? Come and chill with the big boys.
Yeah,
those are your words.
Yeah.
Not mine.
Mfuwe, I mean, Mfuwe it's an amazing place. Obviously, the airport is fantastic, But also, Mfuwe, a lot of people don't know. It's rated top 5, if I'm not mistaken, national parks that have with the least human disturbance, like the least human interference in the ecosystem.
Oh, nice.
So it's rated up there. And also the animals. Have you ever seen a leopard in real life before?
No. Have I seen a leopard before?
A leopard. So a leopard is a very, very introverted animal. You don't see it anyhow. Like you know, so I've been to some of these national parks trying to see a leopard. You just won't see it. But I'm fully. I've been there 3 times. I've been able to see a leopard. I've been able to see a lion. Last time we went, we saw a lion eating lions eating an elephant. Oh. Yeah, just obviously, just that experience of being in the wild and getting to see that, you know, is yeah. So I think the birds, it's just nature. I think there's something about nature that I fear it, but at the same time, it's like
you love it.
I love it. You know what I mean? It's a weird thing. But yeah, Mfuwe is fantastic. But there are so many other places in Zambia that I think are amazing. Obviously, Livingston is great. But I think there are other places people can try.
Yeah. Okay. No, this year it's on my mission. So I need to go to Mfuwe. I must come back and just say, you know what, that thing he was talking about, I can testify. That's what it is. Yeah. But I also want to get into the conversation of your documentary, the Pole Pole documentary. Okay. So last year, it's last year when the Pole Pole album came out.
Yes. Ah, no, not last year. The last of last year.
It's 2023.
Yeah.
Okay. So 2023, give us the Pole Pole album. Fantastic album. I always listen to stuff you put out.
Thank you
but
so much.
I think Miju will give you like, you'll be, every time you just say, what album? Yeah, Miju. Because people will forever, I think there's always your core fans forever go back to. Yeah,
no, actually, Miju. It's across. I've noticed like with a lot of artists. Well, I interact with a lot of artists. Maybe these different guys. It's always the case. The first album that made you, the album that made you blow.
Is the album.
That one. It's difficult. It's like got so much sentimental, and it's like that album was where there was a surprise factor. After that, you're a bit familiar. It's like, you know,
Pompi,
we know, you know. Yeah.
Okay. So Pole Pole, one step at a time, you know, take it slow, but, you know, atomic habits, but then make progress.
Yes.
So let's talk about the documentary. I saw a little snippet, and it takes us back to the Pompi, you know, the Pompi that used to rap, the Pompi that was doing circular music. It sort of shows those snippets, and every time you speak about that journey, and at the time you had an encounter with God, your career was hitting. You were doing the things, you know, but then just decided to say, hey, let me understand what this is and take a step back. Then your mother says, at what point do you tell your parents that you're doing music?
I actually didn't tell them.
How did they watch the song?
They watched the video on channel.
But that's a great way to find out. Hey, what's someone doing?
Anyway, but it's in the documentary. But they're like, this young man looks like Chaka.
That can't be him.
But it can't be him. So it's in the documentary. But it was quite a hilarious situation.
Did they call you after they watched the video, or did you have to come back home?
So actually, my mom called my sister and be like, you know, the other day I was watching this video. I even need to send it to Chaka because there's this boy
who looks like him.
Looks exactly like him. And you know why they couldn't believe?
No, why is that?
They know I was an introvert. I still am an introvert.
Yes.
But I was an introvert, so there was no way in their minds that Chaka is on TV rapping. There's no way. That's not the Chaka. You know.
Really?
Yeah. No.
So when they call your sister, then what does your sister say?
So they call my sister like, there was a song. They were just having a conversation. There was a song actually. You know, Chaka was the guy looked like Chaka.
What song was that?
Much. Bring the bass. Looked like Chaka so much. So my sister is the one who schooled and said, actually, it's him. Yeah. So that's how they found out.
Okay, so they call you immediately, and at the time,
no, they didn't. They didn't call me. It's not like they were bothered by it.
They were just shocked.
They were just shocked.
Yeah,
they were just shocked. They were just shocked. No, they were shocked that with my personality, because literally when I was younger, I was very quiet, very very quiet. So they just didn't imagine me doing that kind of a thing. And I was more. I loved the academics more. Yeah, so they didn't imagine this guy
who's just an
loves,
introverted guy,
yeah,
loves books and school,
being being on TV and doing this kind of
and rapping.
yeah, and rapping. Yeah,
they
they
just
didn't
don't
imagine
know.
that. Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
Yeah.
so now your documentary, because you could have possibly done it at any point in your career.
Yeah, yeah.
Why do you want to tell the story of Pompi now? Like, just go back in time and take us along on that journey.
Yeah, so to be honest with you, it's not me who thought of doing the documentary. There's a gentleman called Kambole who said, look, I want to do a documentary on you. So my immediate response was that, my bro, me, I haven't done enough.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know. I was thinking, bro, I don't think I have done enough to warrant a documentary. I don't know if I don't know if I've got a story to tell, really. Like, literally, that's what I was thinking. It made me a little bit anxious. But I said, anyway, he was very, like, you know, so I said, hey, anyway, if you believe, yeah, please go ahead. And I was just offering support, like, if he needs me to interview or whenever I needed me to be available, I made myself available. So I didn't know what to expect as well.
Yeah.
So for me, the first time I watched the whole thing was also in the screening, the exclusive screening that we had in the cinema about a month ago. That was the first time I got to see the documentary. And I was very surprised by it. Like,
I wanted to ask it, were you being shocked that, wow, that's me?
I couldn't believe it. Like, you know, yeah, like I couldn't believe. I realized that sometimes we can be familiar with ourselves so much so that we forget some of our achievements, you know.
Yes.
You forget that you are living even some of the prayers that you were praying for, or you are living your dream. You know, when you were younger, you dreamt of certain things, and you may be there, but forget that you've actually achieved it. You know. So I remember watching the documentary. I actually, when I went home, I was just grateful. I was just grateful to God, and I said, wow, I didn't realize. I almost got familiar with my journey and my testimony. So I think for me, what the documentary did for me just reminded me just of God's goodness.
Yeah.
The contrast from who I was and who I am now, it's like...
Yeah. It's like, hey, listen, there's a God.
There's a God,
don't
guys.
believe.
There's a God, guys.
There's actually a God. So you've been doing ticket sales and they're sold out. That's some now good, eh? Pole Pole documentary, listen, the fans came out and they said, we're going to be there. But also just looking at this support of people just wanting to come and see. Because when it comes to film, and I've had this conversation with a couple of people who are in the film industry specifically, in Zambia, it's a very growing industry. And most of the time does not even get the support it deserves. So when people responded the way they did and they wanted to come and see your story and be a part of it, how does that make you feel?
Again, shocked. Again, shocked. I was thinking, you know, I was anxious because I was like, hey, ungaspeza welcome cinema. You know?
No, listen, the family will be there.
the family will be there.
Yeah.
No, I was quite anxious. I was quite anxious because also, even when watching the documentary at the screening, I was very anxious because I was thinking, like, is there even going to be a story? You know what I mean? And I was wondering how people would react to it. But yeah, it was a very amazing experience. I mean, at a certain point, half the room was in tears. I was just trying to be a G because, you know, my homies were around me. But hey, it blew my mind, really. So the guys did an amazing job. They are film students from Open Window University.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I think probably some of their best students. So how it's done, I mean, I think the quality is just out of this world, amazing. Yeah.
Okay, so from your story, you know, being Pompi, bring the best Pompi, you come on and you decide to pursue God and have a relationship with Him, and you're ministering through the music. You've achieved so many things. You've been on tour with Maverick City. Like, we can talk about it here and just think it's something small. It's not easy things to achieve. Also, you've had collaborations with people. You've toured the world. You've performed in countries outside Zambia, and the response has been massive. So having sat down and seen the screening or watched that documentary, how would you feel you would describe that particular journey and the growth?
I think I think it's a testimony that a lot of people can relate with.
Yeah.
Why is because, so for example, in the beginning, right, music, you see, imagine my journey was that music for me was a hobby. Yeah. It was a hobby. I didn't take it very seriously.
Yeah.
My plan was to go to university, you know, get my degree and work in the corporate space.
Just have a suit and tie.
You know, suit and tie and, you know, become a corporate titan of some sort. That was my dream. But obviously, God comes in the picture, and I was doing music, but even during Bring the Bass, all of that was just, Bring the Bass wasn't, no, Pompi taking on a music career. I was just still in a mode like, I'm still in university.
So you were just having fun and
I was just having fun. I was just having fun. At that point, if somebody told me, oh, are you a musician? If somebody, people who used to call me a musician, I used to say, I'm not a musician. Like, I'm just doing it. It's just like, I just love music and I'm just expressing music, but I'm not a musician. I didn't even want to be identified as a musician.
As one.
Yeah. I wanted to be identified as by the qualifications, like, you know, I didn't want, music was like that thing, like it's a hobby.
Yeah.
But obviously now when I got born again, you know, obviously God told me to put everything on hold. I used to do business, told me to put that on hold. My degree told me to put that on hold. And basically just be obedient to creating music for him.
Yeah. So
I was very frustrated. My genesis of gospel was a very frustrated young man.
No, I can imagine.
Yeah. Miju, people don't understand. I made that album just like out of obedience. Not that I didn't know anything will come out of it. I was just having conversation with God. A gospel album in Zambia, like really. Like, not only do you want me to be a musician, you want me to be a gospel musician in Zambia. So it's one of those like, so how am I going to sustain myself? You know, like, you know, all these anxieties. And then I do Miju, and obviously I put it out. I remember the event. I was worried about the event and people buy tickets. I remember the tickets got sold out 2 weeks before the actual date and stuff like that. So it's like God was walking me through this whole process. I would say introducing me to myself. I would say when I was younger, I didn't know. You know, people can put a title on you, and people. But I think really our purpose is in God. God who created us knows what He created us for. And sometimes, because of our personal ambition, or we look at somebody and we are inspired by them and we want to fit in their model of things. That's where I was then, trying to fit into, because for me, a successful person was a corporate, you know, that was what I considered success. That's what I wanted to be. But obviously that was a qualification given to me by man, not by God. And I always say this, I don't believe we look for a job, I believe we are born with one.
Okay.
Okay.
So quickly before we get to wrap up, I think I'm being given a signal for time. November 2024, you changed your name, your Facebook name, from just Pompi fan page to Chairman Pompi. Talk to me about the name. I want to know the intentionality that went in there and why.
Okay, it's not that deep. But anyway, first of all, I just didn't like Pompi fan page. So, you know, when you're opening a page, at that time, Pompi was already taken. I tried Pompi Music; it was already taken.
Oh, your fans had already created pages.
There's like a Pompi Cafe in Italy. There's different. There's different. With the same name. So unfortunately, when I tried to put all of those, it didn't work. So I just, you know, one of those where you're trying the name. I put Pompi fan page. It was years ago, so it's accepted. So I just left it for years and years. But I was always bothered by like the Pompi fan page thing. So yeah, I decided to change it, but it just happened to marry at a time when I think I'm slowly transitioning to expressing the other side of me, which is, I would say, the business side of me, alongside everything that I'm doing. And obviously there's Atmosphere Studio, there's Atmosphere Nation, there's Atmosphere Studios. So I would say there are different subsidiaries under Atmosphere, which I've launched, not launched to the public, but we have already done the groundwork and ready to launch them. That I will be chairman of the group not CEO of the group.
Okay.
So it was, yeah, it was just, it was also the time. And I think that phase, that title, I think I was speaking to my future and what I want to do moving forward, besides music.
Okay, Kyle asked about director, Kyle asked Che. I see you've been helping a lot of uprising talent in the gospel space. So I've seen Vessels of Honor. Yes. So talk to me about that.
Vessels of Honor, thanks for asking. So Vessels of Honor, I had these three, Don, Paulina, and Irene, who were my backup vocalists for many years now.
Okay.
But I mean, I don't like myself or people around me to be in the same place. I get very, like, I don't like we are doing this thing this year, and then next year, you know, we are doing the same thing, like, or doing, you know. So I always feel that things need to, you know, build. So with them, obviously we've been growing together and they've been my backup vocalists, but they are so talented, and I felt like, look, I think you guys, it can't just be like associated to the Pompi brand. I think you guys need to create a brand for yourselves and to create a group for yourselves. So that's how I came up with the idea to create the Vessels of Honor Vo. Yeah, that they should, and their first demo that they showed me blew me away. I think people should watch out for those guys. They are so amazing. Yeah, so amazing. So obviously I'm supporting them just to build their brand. When I do a show, obviously I give them platform. We're doing music videos for them as well. Yeah, helping them with international collaborations, all of that sort of stuff. Yeah.
Okay, Chairman Pompi, I have so many questions, but my director says we've run out of time.
No, I'll come again.
I know, you need to come back. You know that thing you were saying at coffee, then we just talked? I think that's what we need to do. We need another special. We need a part two, but thank you so much for stopping by.
Thank you so much.
And congratulations on your documentary.
I'm grateful.
Yes,
thank you
congratulations on your journey. Ladies and gentlemen, my guest on today's episode is Chairman Pompi, multi-award-winning artist, also has massive collaborations with international acts. Gatolanda Zambia Kuchalo, he's one of the people that is definitely taking us there. To end the show, we're going to end the show with a song from his album Pole Pole. He did all the music videos from this album, by the way. So we're going to end with Pole Pole just to tie into the documentary. And also on your screens right now is your viewing schedule in case you want to go and see the Pole Pole documentary at the cinemas. Thank you so much for watching. Mochumonzi.
Nizi.